In the beginning is a delicate time. Know then the year is 2021. In this time, the most precious substance in the universe is the spice melange. The spice extends life. The spice extends consciousness. It exists only on one planet, a desert so desolate, a planet called Dune.
Not that monstrosity. I'm talking about this new one. So Dune was a very big anticipated movie of the year, and I just remember back in 2018 when I heard that they were making this movie, I was so thrilled that they were going to make this, because Dune is one of the very few books that I've ever read when I was a young kid, because Dune was the second one that I actually read just right before my very first book that I read, which was The Hobbit. So reading Dune, I just really appreciated the lore that went into the book, just the storytelling. So I was very excited to hear that after I was done reading the book, I was like, oh, there's a movie. I gotta check it out. And this was the movie that came out in the 1980s. It came out before I was born, obviously. But I was still nonetheless excited to see this movie. And you know what? Dune, back in the 1980s, it was a very mixed bag of a film, because like when it comes down to kind of like doing the comparison between like the book and the movie, you're all like, the book is way better. I mean, I would say that is like a very common thing that happens to filmmaking, is because you only have a certain amount of time that you can make a movie where you're trying to tackle all the characters, the story, the lore, because especially when it comes down to books like Dune or Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, there's a lot of lore, there's a lot of backstory, and they need to get it down in a matter of just about like 2.5 hours. But one thing I really appreciated what they did with this one is that they decided to make this a two-parter film series. So I think that was the smart way of segueing us into seeing this big, massive world, especially that the whole concept, it has a lot of like politics, it's got a lot of drama, it's just got a lot of things that makes you just keep on thinking throughout the entire film. But overall, I think they just did a really great job in emphasizing the politics, the storytelling, the characters. Even with some of the side characters, like you have the Aquaman actor Jason Momoa. He had a very small role, but somehow anytime when he was in the movie, he was a scene stealer. And I think it goes the same thing with Zendaya. She had a very small part in this one, but you know that Zendaya is going to have a bigger role in the second part, because she's a very main character in the entire world. So just the fact that they're giving us like all these side characters, they're giving us like little small arcs for each one, but you just really see the effort that each actor went into their scenes. And if you have not yet seen the movie, what are you doing? If you're a subscriber on HBO Max, go watch it, or you can go see in the theaters right now. But yeah, like I said before, what are you doing? You should watch this, because this is a very phenomenal film. And the one thing that I think that is very good about this movie is that it felt like its own entity. Like it felt like it was a self-contained film, that it felt like that you did get something of an ending, but it felt like that the ending did a good job at just kind of like making you go like, okay, this is a good solid movie. And it's got a little small something that will lead to a possible sequel, but I just really enjoyed that they just did a good job in making it self-contained, that they didn't need to rely so heavily on making us go like, to be continued in the second film, because they actually had to wait and see what this movie was going to do before they would be greenlit to make the second one. But with Dune, one thing I just really appreciated about this film is that the score was absolutely captivating. It was haunting. It was beautiful. And Hans Zimmer, he's just one of those composers that you're all like, you got me there, you got me. Like, he is just one of those really good composers. He's done the Dark Knight trilogy. So like, this is a guy that is already seasoned and he just knows how to do such incredible musical scores. Like, he was able to just to take one note and that would make it be like the theme song for the Joker in The Dark Knight. Like, he did an incredible job with that, as he did with this one. Because the undertone, it just really felt like that they relied heavily on just giving you like a lot of emotion into the score, and you actually feel for the characters, even though when in scenes where they don't speak, but somehow the score is really conveying how they feel. And that was just a very nice touch into this film, because there was a lot of moments when you had to kind of like soak up what just happened, especially in the scene where like the real bad guys, they invade this town and you're seeing the main characters just lose one friend after another, and you're just seeing a lot of mayhem. But you, with the score, it just somehow made it so haunting, but felt so epic. And I just really love the conclusion that they did when they had to savor a moment for the main character just to look in the horizon and actually see the desolation that was brought in the wake of this entire town. They just did an incredible job just conveying themes, give you emotions. And overall, the cinematography just helped it so nicely, because like with the cinematography, it just like, it felt like you were in a dream. Like, this was like bright colors, very vivid, very crisp, and there was just something even about like the effect of the sand. They just did a really good job, which is a very big feat. So when it comes down to the story, I think they did a really good job in just conveying to us Paul, which is the main character, and you're just seeing the relationship that he has with his mother and with his father, and you're just seeing like these two different aspects of his parents. Like, you got like his strong, good leader father that he has, and then you got like this mother of his that almost feels like that she's kind of manipulative in a way, but you also see that you can definitely tell that she deeply loves her son. And just the way that they just definitely showed a lot of character with the family there. There's a lot of melodrama, but you know what, somehow the melodrama just really worked within this family unit. And I don't want to tell too much, especially when it comes down to the spoilers, but like I said before, watch the movie, you'll love it. But within the story, I would have to say that, just to sum it up, Paul, he's preferred to be kind of like the chosen one, because his mother would be considered a witch, and it's kind of like this little cultish thing that she has with other witches, and they're just going like, is your son ready? Because is he seen visions yet? And yes, he has seen visions, but it seems like that he's seen visions of Zendaya. And it feels like that there's something very dangerous. There is a lot of sense of dread to come in the near future. So I just really liked it that they did a lot to kind of like showcase maybe a possible future. But he's going like, okay, this is what's going to happen. Maybe I can do something that will change that. And that is the very thing that it's all about Paul in his journey to reach the Zendaya character, but also to become the man that he needs to become. Oscar Isaac, yep, he's a really good actor. You know him as Apocalypse or Poe Dameron from Star Wars. And he's actually set to be the Moon Knight in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so I'm very excited for that. But from that aside, he did a really good job playing his character. He's just one of those very he's a big chameleon when it comes to acting, because he can play a crazy guy or he can play a good guy, a bad guy. He is just one of those very rare actors that we get that just can show so much characteristics in his acting abilities. I think he did a really good job in just being that good, strong father figure, but still has some faults as it goes with Paul himself, because like I said, I think his name is Timothy. I don't remember his last name, but the guy that plays Paul. I'm still on the fence of his acting ability, but from what I've seen with this one, it's looking pretty good. The musical score is beautiful. Some of the acting is really good. It felt like a self-contained film, even though that it does have hints of a possible sequel, which did get greenlit. The story is very captivating. And overall, this is a good movie that really surprised me, because I was very concerned going into this movie, because I'm all like, is it going to be a self-contained film where they don't need to rely so heavily on making us go like, to be continued? Because I think that's the very issue when it comes down to a series, because would you really watch just one movie and not watch the other part? Because like, I think that's the very issue that a lot of series have, is that you actually need to watch the whole series as a whole, or else you will not feel complete. But with this one, it felt like that you felt complete after watching to the very end. Even though the very end felt a little bit anticlimactic, but it somehow worked to be intertwined into this whole story. So it felt like a self-contained film. It knew its themes, and overall, I would give this movie a good 9.5. So that was my review for Dune. I just want to say thank you so much for watching my video, and if you liked what you saw, please press that like button, and also please subscribe to my channel, as it really helps me out. And keep on drinking coffee, everyone, and I'll see you guys next time.